welcome to Sunday Club in the Stable. I'm Paul, and this is Hannah.
Hi friends, missing you. I hope you're staying safe. Okay, we are shaking it up a bit today, Paul, to help us to remember things and discover our story. So, number 1.
Virtual high five.
Number 2.
The Great Escape.
Number 3.
Superpower.
Our story can be found in the Bible, in the first book of Samuel, chapter 19. So, our first thing to think about today is number 1.
Virtual high five.
Okay, I have a little game for you to do before we do some storytelling, and perhaps you could make this game with your friends. So Paul and I love a good high five, which is fine when you're living in the same house. But we have some friends who we can't high five, so we've got them to send us some videos of them high-fiving their phones, and we have got to guess who they are. But to help, I'm going to show you a picture of who's taking part first. Look closely at those people. So, here are some high fives.
I like our friends.
Yeah, me too. Same for David in the Bible. He had some really good mates, and there's a bit in David's story that shows us that. In today's chapter, actually. So King Saul, he's got to this point where he's very, very jealous of David.
Jealous means wanting something someone else has and forgetting what we've got.
Thanks, Paul. Well, Saul's jealousy ended up being his downfall, really. So Saul's running around trying to find David because he wants to kill him. And this goes on for quite a long time. But David's mates have got his back. Jonathan, David's bestest of bestest mates.
Hey, isn't he King Saul's son?
He is, but, well, he is actually really loyal to David. Like, he stuck by him. He was a true friend. He heard that Daddy King Saul was planning to kill David. So Jonathan told David that was going on. Now that's a good friend right there. So tip number 1 from today's story, get good friends around you. What was tip 1? Okay, number 2.
The Great Escape.
So, David's at home, chilling with his wife.
Also related to Saul.
Yes, his daughter. Anyway, she comes out and she's like, David, you have to get out of here. You need to escape. My dad's coming to get you. So, David's wife helped him escape the house through a window. But that isn't really one to try at home. So, Saul turns up, and of course, David isn't there. Tip number 2, get away from people who are not helpful for you. God doesn't want us to be around people that make us sad or don't love and care for us the way that He would want. We've got a way that can help you keep thinking about this. So David had to escape. Let's make our own little escape maze. You can make it out of Lego, or you can get some cards and some straws and some glue and use a marble to follow the maze. Paul and I will show you what we do. When you make and play with your little maze, why don't you ask Jesus to help you see the people who are around you that aren't helpful to you? Okay. Ready for number 3.
Superpower.
So David has discovered that Saul is after him, and with the help of his friends, he makes an escape from the jealous King Saul. And he goes to find, wait for it, Samuel. Now, in this story, Samuel sounds a bit like he is like Yoda from Star Wars, but more powerful. Imagine that. Samuel has a different kind of power in him, though. The power that Samuel has in him is like a God power. So Samuel is hanging out with David. Saul sends some men to get David, but when they get to where Samuel and David are, they are overwhelmed by the power of God, and they start spending time with God rather than trying to kill David. Saul was, of course, a little hacked off with this, so he sent some more people to go and capture David. Well, the same thing happened to these guys. They were overwhelmed by the power of God, that they started spending time with God rather than trying to capture David. Well, finally, Saul heads over to Samuel's house to get David. And Saul is so overwhelmed by God's presence that he lays in God's presence for day upon day upon day upon day. Tip number 3 for life. Don't forget God's power. And if you're following Jesus, you have that power in you. Where Samuel was and his longing to be with God meant that God's presence was with him. It even made his enemies fall at God's feet and spend time with God. So, let's spend time with God. Find somewhere safe to lie down. Maybe in your garden or in your house, and listen. What can you hear?
What can you see?
Can you hear God?
Can you see God?
So, 3 things we've learnt today, Paul. Get good friends that will help you get away from things that aren't helpful, like David did from Saul. And don't forget God's power, and that it can be at work in you every day. And wow, that power is like a superpower. Thanks for joining us today. Thumbs up, subscribe. But for now, it's a polar bear high 5 from this chap and 5 from me. Number 2.
Number 2.
I just need to change my script page.
Bye, friends.